Cabbages that have just been finished, so that was the first bit early cabbage just gone. And then obviously courgettes.
Courgette flowers. Very good.
The flowers and the fruit.
Yeah.
There's a good bit of fruit. So they're yielding between 3 and 5 courgettes. Can't see it for any fruits is on them. There's some there. Captain Caveman's Club.
Gee.
So they're yielding between 3 and 5 fruits a week each plant. And we have them just planted. What they're coming on is autumn squash, which is a wee bit autumn and winter squash, which is planted along there. On the drain pipes,
that's a handy weed tool, isn't it? Just very simple, isn't it?
you can either harvest that at micro salad stage or micro herb stage or baby salad stage. So that's coriander on the top. That's regular salad bowl lettuce there, and we've cleared it in 3 or 4 for students to replant tomorrow when they're in.
But they're so in demand. All these micro herbs are so in demand now, aren't they? You know, the chefs go mad for them. They really do.
Aye.
You know.
I think from a supply chain point of view, there's a difficulty in getting them from the grower to the user.
Right.
Because there's such a short shelf life. Like even same edible flowers.
Yes.
You know, you can't. It's something generally you would grow yourself. Then actually then tend to be buying and that you would tend to grow it yourself. But like the micro salad, like when Nev Maguire was in town, that Cookies for Life thing, there was micro basil galore in that.
Yep.
The tomatoes, there's different types of plum tomatoes. Some plum tomatoes there. Then we have some regular tomatoes across the far side as well.
You know, the whole emphasis is now that the chef grows his own. A lot of the places, you know.
And everything here is completely, to use the term organic, it's completely organic. We use organic fungicides, natural insect control using this marigold to keep away green fly and white fly from the tomatoes. It attracts beneficial insects towards the plant as well. And then there's a wee bit, just around the front there, it's more companion plant, a wee bit of fresh basil.
Basil? And a companion, you mean as in it attracts the insects?
There'll be a mutual benefit, either where it attracts a beneficial insect towards them for pollination, or it helps to repel unwanted insects with them. In the case of basil, the basil itself will add more flavour to the tomatoes. So you can get like spicy Thai basil, you can get sweet basil, you can get large basil, and they'll add a certain flavour then to your crop as well.
And I know that they say that, I remember it was Heston one time I was saying that the flavour comes from the stem. Yeah. You know, the tomato.
So we would feed them here a type of organic fertiliser that we'll show you in a barrel called comfrey. And the comfrey itself is a very sugar-rich fertiliser, so that in turn adds more sweetness to your tomato. Right. So the wee fertiliser helps to make it taste a wee bit. That's more tomatoes. Fennel. Yes. So there's some fennel here where the fellas have been picking the foliage of it, so that then in turn has affected the size of the bulb. Right. So you're using the foliage at the sacrifice of the bulb, whereas when you go further in here, you see the ones that have never been harvested are getting nice bulbs starting to come on them as well. Yep. And again, there's just a wee bit of general basil stuck in left, right and centre. Behind us here is a wee bit more salad production. Some butterhead lettuce. Yep. And then some baby beetroots planted down there. And there's a wee bit of basil at the end there. The last bed over here, there's more lettuce at different stages of production. Some that are fully ripe, that are yearning to be cut, and some that have just recently planted. More tomatoes, and then we have some more tarragon down the drain pipes. That's a spicy salad mix, the middle one, so you'll actually see round this side here mustard leaf. So you see some mustard leaf and different varieties of rocket starting to grow together there. Then there's a wee bit lime basil starting to come in the bottom here. Some lime basil starting to come there. And then the troughs at the back behind us, there's a mixture of sorrel and radicchio lettuce in one, parsley in the next, and then oregano. And the last one down there. This here then. More courgette stuck in there, and then this is actually just a salad bed that's almost starting to get the end of its life, where the lettuces is starting to get a wee bit tall and they're starting to bolt. So they're just getting harvested away, and then hopefully now that will get. We have another crop I'll show you in a second, which is ready just to replace that. Just get cleaned out. And then that's that was that oregano then one down there, and then there's a wee more basil in that wee trough in behind you. Queens and Orla, there's the two varieties there. So we're harvesting away some of them, so there's some early queens there.
Calendula, is that what you said?
Calendula officinalis, an edible thing. That's Leeks. That one.
Leeks, what? Leeks?
Wee baby leeks. And there's some black currants here. I don't know. I don't think that wee fella's brave. Do you ever eat a fresh black currant? Taste that and see how far into your mouth your lips go. Eat the whole thing.
Is it bitter?
Very good. The strawberries coming in there.
Strawberries, look.
There's a great kick to the fresh blackcurrant peel. As soon as it's going to taste like Ribena. Russian tarragon.
Right.
Oregano. Lovage. Plants in the middle here.
Yes.
More curled parsley. Edible borage flowers. Like for us,
yeah,
as a horticulture
yeah.
thing, as a companion plant for yourselves as chefs. Into ice cubes or use a wee dress or something. You see your wee friend helping to visit them. All the wee crops there. For us as gardeners, it's kind of maybe recklessly planted beside a highly poisonous plant, foxglove.
Foxglove, I've heard of it alright,
So
yeah.
it would stop your heart if you had enough of it.
Gee.
And then this is red salad bowl lettuce.
Yes.
And we have more strawberries with our wee baby strawberries for next year. So we should have about 500 strawberry plants for next year.
Gee.
So planting them. And then inside our propagation house.
So this is where it all starts off.
This is Savoy Cabbage for next February, March. So that's Savoy Cabbage next February, March. This is baby beet. This will be more baby beetroot, and they'll be ready to consume at early part of November. We have some more sweet basil, just sown from seed here, that should be ready about early part of September. This is pak chow.
Yep.
So we have more pak chow. So that's green pak chow. We have more salad red lettuce from this one.
Yep.
We have more pots of basil ready to be planted out. And then we have some purple top turnip, just sown the last day into these wee trays here. And then up on the bench here, we have some asparagus from seed.
Gee. Wow.
So they should be ready for you to consume, John, about 2016, 2017. They'll be ready for you to pick.
Very good.
So they take 3 months to get to that stage from seed. These are a companion flower for next year called Sweet William. They start to come into flower by next May. These is fresh mint, which are all we're doing an exercise of taking cuttings from roots and probably this. So all the pots on there are all fresh garden mint. And then on the bench here we have some tiny baby leeks.
Baby leeks.
So we'll have some wee leeks there. This is some Savoy cabbage.
Yep.
Which is about 3 weeks old. That's some wee Savoy cabbage. These are just the start of scallions.
Right.
We start scallions here.
Spring onions.
And then this is all more leeks coming down here. More cabbage. And then the thing in the middle here that looks like cabbage is some more kohlrabi. So that's some more white kohlrabi.
Yeah.
So that goes for us here very quickly. That's
you had kohlrabi up at
we actually keep an allotment of it up at Belmont School.
Right.
This is white kohlrabi here, so this is about 2.5 weeks old here. So 2 or 3 wee plants planted together. They'll be ready to plant into one of those middle beds in the polytunnel in about a week's time, and they should be ready to harvest then in about 6 weeks' time. This is sweet basil.
Yeah.
So another wee tray of basil plants coming on there. And then this is rocket, starting to come down here. And the next wee tray in the middle with a slightly red leaf is some red pak chow.
Yep.
It's about 2 weeks old, some red pak chow. And then some more edible flowers in the form of pansies. So some pansy edible flowers, and these are some more blackcurrant bushes. That's how the blackcurrant bush starts off its wee life. And then within 2 years they'll start to bear fruit. And then within 5 years each plant should yield us about 3 stone of fruit. So nice wee steady amount, come on. We call this potato blight. And this is what made all our forefathers leave Scotland and leave all your forefathers to leave Ireland. So this is potato blight coming on the plants here. So it starts off as a tiny wee black dots, and then gets worse and worse like this, and then eventually it all starts to rot away at the plant that way, and then the wee potato itself starts to rot inside of it. So this is a good time for us to be harvesting. You can even see with the rain, it's dry.
Yeah.
Even with the rain that's been falling, it's dry. So these would be early potatoes, so these would be queens that we planted in here.
Right.
Right, roll your sleeves up, kiddo.
Right, take off your jacket there. I'll hold your jacket. Good man.
And I want you to get your hands stuck in and you find all the potatoes and put the potatoes down here at the end of that bench. And you get well stuck in and see how many potatoes you can. And you can smash that whole thing up and break it all up as well, champ.
Well, like I said, you would see a lot of chefs now, you know, that gee, look at the size of that. You know, that it's, I don't want to say, use the word trendy, that they're growing their own vegetables on site. Like I remember we used to go and pick, when I worked in Dare Manor, we used to go and during our split, so-called split, and we'd go picking bags of watercress and stuff, you know, down the ponds and stuff like that. Or down picking your salads for the morning, for the afternoon, or whatever the case may be.
I was at an event just last night in Glenveigh Castle, and Chef Gary O'Hanlon was at it. He was talking gas chef, and he was saying that for a while it was fashionable for chefs to talk about using butternut squash from this part of the world, and this from Paris, and this from Japan. But now it's went that complete river cottage idea, and it's all about the fresh produce, and it's all about local, whether it be local meat, local pork, local chicken, local eggs, and same with fruit and veg. And I think we're all clever enough now to realise that when something's fresh, it tastes better. Yeah. There's more shelf life to it. Yeah. Everything about it's better. There's more nutrition in it. There's more natural sweet. Everything about it's better. And like that idea of even the smallest inner town restaurant is looking for a herb pot, a herb basket, a herb wheel, something that visually connects it for the consumer. That connects the fresh produce onto it.
You can even see, like, you know, I mean, even Tesco's there. You know, they're selling their wee pots now, like a yogurt pot with the seeds in it for growing chives or tarragon or tomatoes. You know, they've latched on even to it that, you know, people at home can grow their own herbs.
It was a slight gimmick, but one of the best things that happened recent enough was McDonald's done cress seeds with a Happy Meal.
Really?
And the amount of kids that got into gardening. Like for 3 weeks I could not go to a school or go to somebody's house where they wouldn't have the wee pot of cress grown that they got at McDonald's. For the aspect of grow your own stuff, it was fantastic.
Wow.
Really got kids into it. Like. There's another one as well, the far side. And if I get these stalks out your way, so you can see here how it originally grows. This is where my hand is where the original potato was, and this big stalk comes all the way at the top of it, and the wee root comes off, and the wee root then swells into a big potato. And you can see the way it grows up, all the wee potatoes coming off all the stems there. So I'll take these out your way, and you have another good pick through that. And that is the old potato we planted. That's the original seed potato, that wee bag there.
You know, things like bringing them down and showing them all this, you know, really brings it home to them. You know, you can play videos and read books and all that.
Kids, like you'd see on Twitter and stuff, like I'm big into the schools, and I go to 9 or 10
I see that on Twitter,
like, and kids love it. This aspect, and we can do this every day till the cows come home in St. Therese, Linnamore, St. Paul's, Holy Family. They go clean mad for it. They go absolutely anything from preschool upwards, and even then from a chef's point of view, there's very few good chefs that don't do this. You know, like you're talking about Le Manoir, you're talking about then Nevin Maguire, you're talking about
Simon Duggan and stuff like that. He came down to us.
Simon Duggan, you're talking about, you know, even on local level, Brian McDermott, yourself, all these lads are into fresh herbs. Ian Orr, all about fresh. It's all about the freshest herbs. And from a chef's point of view, the challenge then is, well, the easiest thing is to phone something and get butternut squash 52 weeks a year. But then it's when somebody comes in your door, a la ready steady cook with a bag of turnips and say, what can you make with that? That for me as a consumer, that's what excites me about going places. It's not about getting butternut squash 52 weeks a year. It's about somebody saying, this is what I can do with mackerel, this is what I can do with the humble spud, this is what I can do with 5 or 6 fresh herbs and a bit of citrus. And I think from the consumer, I think that's where the value is, because these things are inexpensive. You can take that, you know, you're talking pennies of your cost, but then you can take that with pure skill and take that into something then which is worth 5, 10, 15 pounds. Anybody can use truffles and make something very expensive, but when somebody takes spud, cabbage, basic ingredient, broccoli, and a few edible flowers, and a bit of eel or something, it makes it fantastic. I think that's where the
thing is, chefs have completely got away from seasons and seasonality and stuff as well, haven't they? You know, that a lot of the chefs coming out today just don't know when something is in season, whether it be fish, whether it be meat, whether it be vegetables, fruit, whatever like that, and trying to get back to that.
The classic example is the apple. The apples and pears are winter stuff. They're a winter veg, whereas we associate a juicy apple with the summertime. We associate oranges with the summertime, but they actually are winter things. It's like the humble carrot. The humble carrot is cheap in the autumn time because that's when it's in season. It's not cheap because Mr. Tesco's decided to sell it cheap. It's because in season. And when something's in season, you can get it locally. It contains more goodness, and in turn then there's more flavour into it, so you can do less with it. And when you start to grow your own, like the spud, you can grow 9 or 10 different varieties. The carrots, you can produce purple carrots, yellow carrots, red carrots, orange carrots, and that's what's going to differentiate the burger cooker from the chef.
Yeah, yeah, very good.
As soon as I stir it, the smell goes ballistic.
So this is what you put on the plants?
This is what we feed the plants. It's an organic fertilizer called comfrey. So we got it at Inch Island, and you get a wild flower goes there called comfrey. And we cut that, we put that in the bucket, add water, stir it. Then after 6 weeks, it's a very high potassium fertilizer. We use a liquid fertilizer, so it's great for the soil, which in turn then kicks back the fertilizer in the plants. So the only thing we use on top of this then is chicken manure. So we use chicken manure, and then we use this then as a boost. Now if we lift this off,
look at that.
You'll see the skin. And then as soon as I give this a bit of a stir, if you could have a smell-o-vision.
I can vouch for that.
So this then stews down, and then the liquid then it's created, you can see there's a kind of a browny kind of liquid, just ferocious for plants. It's not a huge, strong fertilizer, but it provides all the complex micronutrients, which in turn then allows the soil then to process the fertilizer you've added beforehand. So it's not like flinging a huge amount of miracle onto plants. It's subtle, but it's all about the soil, and the soil then releases the goodness to the plants. And it's made for free. It's just that's the equivalent of about 2 coal bags full of comfrey stewed into that. We use away it, then we add more leaves, more water to it, and just use that for the plants. So we feed that, for example, to the tomatoes in there every week. That's where the tomatoes get fed every week. So every Wednesday afternoon and Thursday the polytunnel stinks. And because the comfrey is a kind of oily thing, it stinks your hair, it stinks your skin, everything about you smells like. It takes a day or two actually almost get it out your pores. It's a bit like when you're cooking with fresh garlic. When you cook not with dry but that fresh garlic, you get it in your hands and that's all you can smell for a day or two is fresh garlic. It's the exact same idea with the oil in it. And then talking of garlic, that would be our insecticide. So we grow small little baby garlic bulbs, harvest them, smash them up into water, and we use that then as a bug spray. So we would use garlic as a slightly different way than what you as chefs would do it.
Very good.
But for us it would be a very relevant thing for that.